I think the Ben McDaniels thing. I don't know. You saw that one? There was like TV shows done about it.
That's the remind me the one that was the.
He disappeared in Vortex Springs in 2010.
Oh, yeah.
And we never found his body.
Yeah.
It was the only body recovery I've ever been on where it didn't come back with a body. Well, when the call first came in, I was in the Bahamas doing an expedition off these people's yachts, and Brian Kakuk and I were teaching them how to do exploration. And the call comes in. I told Stacey, I said, I'm in the middle of the ocean on a yacht. I can't just come home. I said, we'll cut the trip short, but I said, here's a list of names to call. So she called Lamar and Jerry and a bunch of people. And I think they had 16 people out there. Well, that cave goes down to 175, 180 feet deep, so they need Trimix. And Trimix is very expensive gas. And I know we blended all the Trimix for all the divers. And just the Trimix bill was several $1,000s. And then Stacey took all of them out to dinner, so that was thousands of dollars. So, and then the family, who after I came home from my expedition early, they'd called the search off already. Nobody could find them, and I knew the sheriff pretty well from other body recoveries, and he was like, Ed, you got to come.
Yeah.
These guys couldn't do it. And I said, I'll be out there first thing in the morning. I went out there and searched. I searched every square inch. And one of the guys that had been the furthest in the cave actually called me the night before. How he found out that I was going, and I have no idea. But he's like, Ed, don't do it. And this guy's much smaller than me. And he goes, I know you pride yourself on getting into shit that nobody else could do. He goes, but I went the furthest. And he goes, I'm going to tell you, I almost died in there. He goes, I will never go back there. He said, I didn't think I was coming home. And he said, don't do this. You're going to die. And he just kept it up. You're going to die. You're going to die. And that's the whole reason why I had that whole rule in the first place. I don't talk to anybody.
Yeah.
I didn't think my friends would get in my head.
Yeah.
And then Larry Green, who's a cave diving pioneer, he was on, he's been doing this for 4 decades. And for a long time, he was a training director for the NACD. He was there. And he called me, don't do it, you're going to die, you're going to die. And then Ken Hill from the IUCRR called me, don't do it, you're going to die. And I'm like, all right, Stacey, if anybody else calls, I am not here. So I went out there, and I could see where James had turned around.
Yeah.
There was claw marks, there was shit busted. I mean, he had a bad day.
Yeah.
And then from there, it was pristine.
Really?
I mean, there was restrictions so small I couldn't get my head through. I had to turn my head sideways. And that's white limestone, but it's kind of brown colored. I don't even see anything that brown. But if you just brush it like that, it's going to leave a white spot.
Oh, wow.
So it's impossible to get anything in there other than maybe an eel that wouldn't leave a mark on the ceiling.
Right.
And then the floor is like baby poop silt. And it was perfect. So there again, if I throw this across there, it's going to leave a mark. No human went in there and didn't leave a mark.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
I'm sitting at this restriction that I can't get my head through. And I'm like, do I want to do this?
Yeah.
And I can see the line up ahead is broken right there. And I'm thinking, shit, did he break that? But in my head, I know there's absolutely no way a human was in there.
Right.
And the victim was bigger than me. But I did it anyway. Because I thought, well, I'm never coming back here. I can guarantee you that. So I better just do it all because I don't want any questions. So once I got around the next corner, it just ended right there.
Yeah.
So, okay, now I've answered that question. And that would have haunted me forever. Now I can't get turned around. It looked like it was big enough because it was fairly wide.
Yeah.
But it tapered off and I couldn't. My body was too big. I'm like, oh, shit. And then I can hear him, you're going to die. Don't do it. You're going to die. I'm like, oh, God, I'm going to die there. So I have to let go of the line. I finally get turned around. Now I've shit the whole cave out. I mean, it's zero. And now I'm looking for that line. Oh, God. I can't find the line. So I finally find the line. Now I can't get back through the restriction because it was only this big to start with.
Right, yeah,
and I had trouble getting in when I could see. Now I can't see, so I'm feeling. And it was just a whole nightmare on the way out. But my payment on that one was the family said, Ed's a coward.
Yeah.
He didn't do what he said he did. He never looked for our son at all. He went down, swam around for a couple hours, and came out and lied to us.
It's funny how it all, when it goes well, it's
I'm a hero.
nothing
When
but
it
praise, but yeah.
kind of like being a goalie on a hockey team. I won. Us, the players, won. You lost. You're the goalie.
Yeah.
But this reporter came to me and said, this is what they said. I said, okay. And they said, doesn't that make you mad? I said, no. And they said, how can it not make you mad? I said, it's a grieving family. They lost their son. They don't have any closure.
Yeah, right.
I said, if calling me a bunch of names helps them sleep at night, by all means. I'm a big boy. I got wide shoulders. I can take it.
Yeah.
And then that was 2010. In 2012, when I saved all those people, of course, it was on the news all the time, and newspapers, news media. And in the meantime, after we called the search off for Ben, the family, they wanted to do an ROV.
Oh, what?
Remote operated vehicle.
Yeah.
Remote control cameras.
Yeah, sure.
Well, they have to have umbilicals. And the sheriff's asking me, what do you think of this? I'm like, no. I said, we tried that back in 2006 after Harry died. I said, I ended up swimming 1,000 feet of cable and an ROV out. And I said, they go in there. I said, there's restrictions that I could barely fit through. Those ROVs aren't as small as you think they are.
Yeah.
And the family had to put a $25,000 cash deposit down on the ROV to rent it, plus the rental. And I said, if that thing gets stuck in there, I'm not going to get it for free. I said, I will go look for a body. I said, I'm not going to get a camera.
Yeah.
And he's like, so you won't go get it at all? I said, yeah, but then it's a job. I said, they're going to pay me. And he goes, what do you want to do that? I said, $24,000. Why that figure? I said, because they're going to lose their $25,000 deposit, so they can have 1,000 of it back, and I get the rest. But I said, we've already tried this. But they did it anyway.
Yeah.
And I was there for the whole thing. And we paid the Trimix bill on all the divers, because we had to have divers going in and help the umbilical around all these corners. And then they said what they said. Ed's a coward. He didn't do any of this shit. And the same reporter that had been reporting on this through the whole thing, she's the one that told me, doesn't that make you mad? No. And then when all these rescues came out and it was all over the news. Back to after it was all done, they put out a $10,000 reward for anybody that had information or could find anything that said their son was in there. And I sent them an email saying, please don't do this. We've had some of the best divers in the world, and now you're going to just get people that need money.
Right.
And there's gonna people die over this. I said, please don't do this. No, Stacy sent it. And they sent an email back to her saying, basically, F you. Ed didn't do shit. He's a coward, blah, blah, blah. Same shit that they'd said to the reporter.
Yeah.
And then the next year, they upped it to a $30,000 reward. And then my friend Larry Higginbotham ended up dying looking for Ben in there. And I ended up having to do the body recovery on that. That was a very difficult one. And she sent them another letter saying, Ed asked you not to do this. He told you that there was going to be bodies piling up. Here's the first. How many more do you want on your conscience? And they sent him another one, F you. And then I did all those rescues. And they saw it, obviously. And then they sent me a letter that said, we're so sorry that we called you all these terrible names. Yeah. And we can see now that you are a hero. And we have no doubt that you did what you said you were going to do. And so I just wrote them back, and I said, I wrote it off back then as you were a grieving family, as I'm sure you still are. I said, my thoughts and prayers are still with you. I said, there's no animosity, no hard feelings. I said, if calling me whatever it takes helps you get to sleep at night, feel free to keep doing it. I don't care.
Yeah.
So, and then they said, we want to pay. And I said, I don't do this for money. And they said, well, can we pay for, all these gas bills? And I said, no. I think they sent me like a $1,500 check or something.
Yeah.
And it said for the Timex or for the gas or whatever. So anyway, they came around in the end.
Yeah. It's kind of unfortunate that someone else had to die in the process, I guess. But